Here's a flagship phone you may not have heard of before, the iQOO 9 Pro. But even though it might not be a household name, this phone aims to compete with the best of them. So what sorts of high-end features does the iQOO 9 Pro bring to the table? I'm Will for GSM Arena, and let's find out in our full review. The iQOO brand, iQOO, is something relatively new. The first iQOO device came out in 2019 as part of a new lineup from Vivo, but now they've split into their own company, and we're up to the 9 series already. The iQOO 9 Pro is a flagship through and through, and ours is extra special since it's the Legend Edition. It brings a BMW Motorsport branded racing stripe design, which looks great together with the matte white finish. The blue power button is also a nice touch. Besides the stripes, the other attention-grabbing feature here is the huge glass camera bump that stretches across the backside. The back panel is made of glass with a subtle etched pattern, and it tapers into the aluminum frame. The etching and finish mean that this phone is grippier than you'd expect, and its curves help it feel thin and comfy in the hand. If the stripes aren't your thing, there is also a variant called Dark Cruise. Its back is made of an aramid fiber material developed by DuPont. But either way, the phone is IP52 rated against dust and light splashes. The front of the iQOO 9 Pro also brings some curves. It's not a true curved display though. While the glass tapers into the frame, the panel underneath is flat. This screen is cutting edge. It's a 6.78-inch 2nd Gen LTPO AMOLED with a QHD resolution and 120Hz refresh rate. With a pixel density of almost 520 ppi, content looks extra sharp on the iQOO 9 Pro's display, and you get those deep AMOLED blacks too. There's support for 10-bit color and HDR10+, and colors can be very accurate depending on the color profile you choose. Maximum brightness is also exceptional here. We measured around 440 nits with a manual slider, and this boosts up to 1000 nits in auto mode when out in bright sun. Thanks to the 120Hz refresh rate, movement like swiping and scrolling on screen is super smooth, and the refresh rate is adaptive all the way down to 10Hz to save energy. There's no support for high frame rate gaming, and games are capped at 60 FPS. But thanks to an intelligent display chip, the iQOO 9 Pro can use MEMC interpolation to raise that to 90 FPS. But this is only supported in a couple of games so far. Speaking of gaming, this panel has a responsive 300Hz touch sampling rate, which can momentarily boost up to a blazing fast 1000Hz. iQOO says this will give you the extra edge against your opponent. And then there's the fingerprint reader, which sits under the display. We've never had such a quick and painless experience when registering a fingerprint, and after that the reader is quite responsive. There's another neat feature here called Quick Action. There's space for 2 app icons on the extra large scanning area, and if you press there, the phone will unlock and automatically launch the app. For audio, the iQOO 9 Pro has a stereo setup, with the earpiece acting as the second speaker. It earned a very good mark on our loudness chart, and audio quality is great too, with rich mids, crisp highs, and even some bass.
Absolute beginners came to Georgetown. They were wearing Harris tweed and pork pie hats.
You get 256 or 512 gigs of storage on board the iQOO 9 Pro, and that's it, it isn't expandable. The interface of the iQOO 9 Pro is Vivo's Funtouch 12 over Android 12. It brings a bunch of proprietary apps and a custom look. For example, the quick toggles up at the top are square, and the app drawer has a separate page for widgets. The UI is also quite customizable. For example, the dynamic effects page includes options for your animations. The phone has an IR blaster, which means that through the smart remote app, you can use the iQOO 9 Pro to control various appliances. And the Ultra Game mode provides plenty of settings to enhance your gaming experience, and these can be accessed through an overlay in-game. These include Do Not Disturb, performance modes, and display enhancements. The iQOO 9 Pro brings a top-of-the-line chipset, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It's built on a 4nm process and provides some of the best performance you can get on an Android phone, as well as 5G connectivity. The iQOO 9 Pro tops the benchmark charts, and heavy tasks and games run great here. The phone did warm up quite a lot during our stress test, but in real situations, thermals are decent. The iQOO 9 Pro has a 4700 mAh battery, which is split into 2 cells for faster charging. It was able to score a very good 97-hour endurance rating in our tests. The phone comes with a huge 120-watt charger in the box, and there's support for 50-watt wireless charging too. Charging speed is crazy fast here. With the wired adapter, we were able to charge the phone from 0 to 100% in just 21 minutes. And now we've come to the cameras. On the back, there's a 50-megapixel gimbal-stabilized main cam, a 50-megapixel ultra-wide cam with a 150-degree field of view, and a 16-megapixel telephoto cam with 2.5 times optical zoom. Photos from the main cam come out at 12.5 megapixels, and they are great. There's low noise and saturated yet likable colors. The dynamic range is adequate and not over the top. The level of detail is high too, but upon close inspection, some intricate details do appear to be overprocessed. For some reason, when you zoom on the default viewfinder, you won't get output from the telephoto cam, but a digital crop from the main one. In order to enable the telephoto, you need to go into Pro mode instead, something that we hope will be addressed through a future software update. The digital zoom isn't bad, but the detail level takes a hit due to the upscaling. The actual telephoto zoom appears to be missing the multi-stacking magic, so these shots are noisier, and yet they have acceptable resolve detail, good contrast, and accurate colors. Portraits are taken with either the main cam or the telephoto. Subjects come out detailed, sharp, and well exposed. However, the subject separation isn't flagship grade, and you may end up with some errors around stray hair. The ultra-wide cam has a native 150-degree field of view, but by default, this is cropped to provide barrel distortion correction. These shots are outstanding, with an excellent level of detail for this kind of camera. Plus, there's low noise, good contrast, natural-looking dynamic range, and lively colors. You can also enable the full 150-degree fisheye view, which provides a neat warped effect. These are sharper than the cropped photos as well. Plus, since the ultra-wide cam has autofocus, you can use it to take close-up macro shots. These are impressive with plenty of detail, excellent contrast, and lively colors. At night, photos from the main cam are balanced and natural looking. There's enough detail, good sharpness, low noise, and accurate colors. You may occasionally see a clipped highlight, but these are rare. If the regular nighttime photos are very good, the night mode photos are excellent. They're sharp and incredibly detailed, with low noise, and outstanding exposure, contrast, and color saturation. The cropped zoomed images from the main camera are alright. They share the same good quality as the regular ones, but with a lot less detail. Shooting through the real telephoto via Pro mode will result in a photo that's noisy and underexposed. Low-light photos from the ultra-wide are pretty good. Colors are well preserved, and the exposure is decent. The detail level is okay for this sort of cam, although the noise reduction is a bit harsh and smears some fine detail. Night mode again does an outstanding job here. These ultra-wide photos are very detailed and clean, with superb sharpness, balanced exposure, and wide dynamic range. Selfies are taken with the 16-megapixel front-facing cam, and these have a decent amount of detail, excellent color presentation, good exposure, and outstanding dynamic range. The iQOO 9 Pro can record video in up to 8K resolution at 30 FPS with its main cam, and 4K at 30 FPS with the ultra-wide one. There's no recording through the telephoto though. 4K video from the main cam is excellent. There's plenty of detail and good contrast, and wide enough dynamic range. Colors are lively and mostly true to life. In contrast, the 8K video provides just an average level of detail and appears to be upscaled. There are some visible artifacts too. At least the colors and dynamic range look good. 4K video quality from the ultra-wide in its default mode is good. The detail level is decent, and the colors and contrast are great. The dynamic range is adequate too. Removing the distortion correction really improves the quality here. The footage is sharper and more detailed, with well-developed foliage, and the colors and contrast remain great. The dynamic range is alright too. The iQOO 9 Pro features gimbal stabilization on its main cam. The footage comes out really smooth even when walking. You can enable EIS on the main cam as well for extra smoothness, but you're limited to 1080p resolution. The ultra-wide has always-on EIS, even in 4K resolution, and it's actually pretty smooth too. So that's the iQOO 9 Pro. It delivers a catchy design, a cutting-edge AMOLED, a top-of-the-line chipset, great stereo speakers, good battery life, incredibly fast charging, and excellent cameras. The only things we're really missing here are a full IP rating and better functionality with the telephoto cam, but hopefully its issues can be addressed further down the line with software updates. All in all, the iQOO 9 Pro has more than enough to be a competitive flagship, and if you can find it available, it's worth recommending. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and see you on the next one.